Aries. Aries symbol: the moon spends the day in your home and family sector, dear Aries, and your natural inclination is to rest, reflect, and settle in. While it can be a time to view others in a more compassionate light, you might want to watch for over-idealizing a situation, particularly a financial or romantic one. You may be a little misguided in your compassion with a Venus-Neptune square occurring in your sectors of faith. There could be a slight letdown, or you become aware that something you were expectimist helpful ming to pass. However, putting some illusions aside can be healthy as you make room for more realizable goals. Others may be overstepping their bounds and asking you to do too much. Resolving to define and enforce boundaries going forward can be most useful. Others' opinions and beliefs could leave you feeling deflated and frustrated if they lack a genuine understanding of a situation. It's not the best time for important financial transactions or clarity in love relationships. You are unlikely to be as productive as you'd like to be, but you may need a break. It might also help to let go of the need to know or fully understand your relationships for the time being. Taurus. Taurus symbol: the moon spends the day in your communications sector, dear Taurus, encouraging your curiosity and desire to reach out. Aim to be discriminating with what you take in, however. Your sympathies and your compassion heighten, so allow yourself to dream and imagine. At the same time, don't expect so much that you miss the opportunities of the day. A Venus-Neptune square today points to some tendency to overshoot. This transit can cloud your vision and play with your mood, motivation, and drive, but this is temporary. Areas of life that may be up in the air or unclear include friendships, boundaries in your relationships, work, support, or intimacy. Your spirits lift very high one minute and drop low the next. The trick is to keep your expectations of others at the human level. You might deal with a romantic or social disappointment, but the good news is that, in so doing, you're clearing the way for more clarity. You're making room for new and improved goals and turning your focus to those things that matter more. Ride this one out, if possible, as it's likely brief. Emotional satisfaction tends to come from mental stimulation and learning new things. Gemini. Gemini symbol: you might view romantic partners in an idealistic way today, dear Gemini, but it's a good idea to maintain a sense of proportion. Today's Venus-Neptune square has a way of blurring perceptions, mainly to accommodate wishful thinking. You could encounter evasiveness in others, something is up in the air, or there can be frustrations with what's left unsaid. A general lack of direction is weighing on a relationship or disrupting relationship goals. The primary key to enjoying today involves letting go of too high expectations of yourself, another person, or a relationship itself. In truth, it can be very freeing. A slight letdown may send you on a detour that's completely worth it in the end. If you strive to enjoy the moment without borrowing from the future, you can have fun today. Today's moon transit encourages you to seek comfort. Cancer. Cancer symbol: the moon spends the day in your sign, dear Cancer, and it's a time for embracing your feelings. Although there is a tendency to idealize others or romanticize situations, you may need a break from the usual routine. It's best to keep in mind that wishful thinking can cloud your view with a Venus-Neptune square active today. It's not easy to make room for and enjoy your duties with dreams and fantasies filling your mind. If motivation levels are waning and restlessness takes over, you might quickly tire of the mundane or routine in your life. Or, you might wonder where you stand on a matter, but there are more questions than answers temporarily. If you're overcrowding your mind with unrealizable goals and they're interfering with what you're doing now, consider putting them behind you to make room for dreams that genuinely encourage you. Watch for having your blinders on and resolve to pay more attention to your needs for inspiration and imagination in the future. Leo. The moon spends the day in the sign behind yours, dear Leo, suggesting you need a break from the routine. With a Venus-Neptune square coloring the day, wishful thinking can skew your view. Watch for a tendency to pick and choose which cues from your environment to see or overlook. There can be a veil over your eyes regarding your relationships and perhaps some blurred boundaries or uncertain feelings. You may be attracted to those things that you can't have or that are just out of reach. It isn't easy to be objective with this transit in play. Aim to explore different ways to enjoy yourself, but avoid pinning your hopes on speculative ventures or elusive people right now. Once you let go of unreasonable expectations, you can get into a far better emotional space. Virgo. The moon spends the day in your friendship sector, dear Virgo, encouraging you to seek happy connections. Still, it's complicated, mainly due to a Venus-Neptune square. Events or feelings happening now can remind you of the need to draw boundaries. Someone in your life can be a mystery, not necessarily in a good way. Or, you might pin your hopes on someone or something and forget you're the one in charge of making yourself happy. In truth, this transit makes it tricky to accept that happiness is found within and not outside of you. Emotions and affections can be hard to make sense of right now, so do your best to wait before drawing conclusions. Aim to return to practical problems on a day when you're more ruled by logic and reason than by complicated emotions and expectations. It can feel inconvenient to face reality about a person or situation right now, but it can save you a lot of time and energy in the long run. Libra. With Venus square to Neptune today, it's best not to make any important commitments or statements until the fog clears, dear Libra. The moon continues its transit of your solar 10th house, encouraging you to formulate goals and plans. However, transits now make it challenging to see ahead of you. There's a tendency to feed previously held beliefs about someone and, in the process, not honestly face reality. You may need to let things flow and trust in the process, but save important matters for a better time. Try to keep your emotional distance until you see things more clearly. There's no need to make half-hearted commitments. Feeling drained can stem from wavering motivation and emotions. After all, wrestling with doubt or feelings of discontent can be exhausting. You're a psychic sponge right now, and you have to learn when and how to turn it off so that you can concentrate on your own path and health. Take a break when you can, and aim to tune out unhealthy, undermining distractions. Scorpio. With the moon moving in harmony to your sign today, emotional energy runs high, dear Scorpio. It's a day for seeking interesting topics, interactions, and experiences. It's not a time for strict routine. However, today's Venus-Neptune square can be confusing, and restlessness is possible. Situations may be up in the air, or people are vague and giving off confusing signals. The sense that you're not on solid ground with others can leave you feeling off. While you are a highly perceptive person, wishful thinking can cloud your vision today. It may try to convince you that borrowing from the future is a good idea. Whether it's purchasing beyond your means or investing emotions and energy into something unlikely to pan out, try to nip it in the bud. Tap into your empathy and compassion of the day, but avoid over-idealizing someone, something, or a situation. Sagittarius. Emotions can be tricky today, dear Sagittarius. Wishful thinking works if it inspires you or motivates you to go after what you want. However, if it only serves to leave you wanting, then you should probably let it go and get on with your day. A Venus-Neptune square today tends to distract you. While it's hard to communicate your desires temporarily, it's best not to let others guess them, as that, too, can lead to frustration. Focusing on realizable goals and stopping to appreciate what's already in place will bring the most satisfaction. But don't dismiss wistful feelings entirely. They can remind you that you need to feed your need for more inspired living going forward. Capricorn. The moon spends the day in your partnership sector, dear Capricorn, and you're seeking perspective. Even so, things are a little blurry with Venus square Neptune. Imagination takes on more power and influence than usual early today with this transit. If you use it for relaxing or creative activities, then you benefit. However, the tendency could be to pin your hopes on something unlikely to transpire. Wishful thinking can certainly alert you to areas where you can make improvements. However, you might want to watch for making half-hearted commitments or statements as moods are changeable, and your vision may be off. Aim to get in touch with your actual needs rather than chase whims. Feelings of discontent or longing can be vague, and whims might mask the things you are honestly missing. Keeping expectations of yourself, others, relationships, and situations reasonable can protect you from disappointment, but don't shield yourself. It's possible that feeling vulnerable helps you understand your deeper needs. Aquarius. The moon spends the day in your work and health sector, dear Aquarius, and you're particularly sensitive to things that are a little off. However, today's Venus-Neptune square can make it hard to objectively assess the value of people and things. The tendency may be to chase a pipe dream or invest emotions, energy, or money into something that won't truly satisfy. Or, a slight disappointment with a friend occurs due to an error of omission or wires crossing. It may be best to put off spending and lending just for now. If a plan or goal now seems not as possible, it might only need some refinements. However, if it's just not serving you well, make room for one that does. Uncertainty doesn't always feel great, but letting go of a burning need to define things or to be in the know can help you. Pisces. The moon transits your sector of joy, dear Pisces, and you're feeling a need for emotional refreshment. With Venus square Neptune today, feelings, conditions, and desires are complicated. You tend to look outside of yourself for something you imagine will make you happier or more fulfilled. However, it's a wild goose chase, and it might even lead to more profound feelings of discontent. Aim to look within and get in better touch with what may be missing from your life. Make plans to work on it. In your relationships, avoid band-aid fixes if it means misleading yourself or others. Putting certain things off can end up costing you more. Watch for misjudging the value of something today.